Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this particular video on public speaking, I'm going to focus on how to deliver that perfect speech, how to use your body, your eye contact, your entire being as a good tool to deliver that speech. For those of you who are new to the channel, I'm Dhanya Varma. I'm a talk show host and a TEDx speaker. Through this channel here, I hope to provide you content that adds value to your lives in some way. Now, this is part 3 of the series on public speaking. The part 1 and part 2 is already uploaded on YouTube and the links will be given below in the description box. Well, this is an essential ingredient of any good conversation, eye contact. If you go to a party and you're meeting up with people or you're at a meeting in a small circle, it's so important and vital that you have that contact via your eyes, right? And you maintain that contact through the conversation that you have, whether it's with one person or with many people in a smaller setup. But if it's on stage, somehow you feel that eye contact is not really all that necessary. This is absolutely wrong. To deliver an effective speech, even if the audience is 100, 2,000 or 3,000 people, you still need to maintain eye contact. Of course, you can't make eye contact with each and every person sitting in the audience, but there are ways and means of communicating to the audience that each of the persons sitting in the audience is really, truly important. So how do we do that? Let's get into it. So now I'm going to give you a trick of the trade. I have been an MC for numerous events, and this is something which most MCs use. We tend to use this as a rule, and the trick is stop, shop and stop. By that I mean, when you want to make a punchline and you want to deliver that punchline or present an important idea, you stop at a person and you speak to that person. Then you scan the entire audience as you're connecting two major ideas. You're just scanning the whole area with your eyes, and then as you're making the next punchline or throwing your next big idea, you stop and look at a particular person in the audience. So it's basically stop, shop and stop. But you got to always remember that you should not be continuously scanning the audience and continuously looking from one person to the other. There should be moments where you pause, you hold your eye contact, and you talk to the person in the audience sitting there in front of you. This idea of stopping, shopping and stopping sounds so easy, right? But when you're in a real life situation and when you're on that stage to deliver that speech and you look around and you find only unfamiliar strangers sitting in the audience, whom do you make your eye contact with? Now that's very scary, and initially when I used to MC, I used to find myself nervous because I didn't know whom to look at. So I used to reach the venue a little earlier and hang around the venue a little. So a couple of people in the audience would either walk up to me or I would go up to them and say a hi or hello, and we would just exchange a few lines. And when I would get on stage, these would be the familiar faces who would support and encourage me, and they would be willing to make that eye contact and be engaged through the speech. So whenever I would have to stop, I would stop and look at those people I have made friends with from the audience a little earlier on. Well, the next points I'm going to discuss are also equally important, which is basically posture, movement and stance. Posture, of course, you've got to be standing erect. Feet slightly apart is ideal, and relaxing your shoulders, stomach tucked in, chin up, the normal thing. But when it comes to movement, there are conflicting ideas. Well, I'm personally of the opinion that it's all right to move around the stage. When it's a big stage and it's a long speech, it makes sense to move about a little just to break the monotony or have a little flow to the conversation. But the thing to remember is when you want to make that important point or deliver that big idea, then you shouldn't be walking around. You should ideally hold a position, stand straight, take a deep breath, pause before you deliver that punchline or that idea of yours. So swaying from side to side and rocking back and forth should be avoided at all costs. Please don't do it on stage. Somehow reminds me of nursery or kindergarten children when I see people do that on stage. So a lot of people do ask me, what do you do with your hands when you have to give a speech? I just keep it as natural as it would be in a conversation. In fact, you can see the way my hands are moving. It's just the way I would talk to anybody sitting across. What you shouldn't be doing is letting your hands drop by your side and keeping them stiff, or fidgeting with your hands. Now, rubbing your palms against each other or playing with a finger ring if you have. All that kind of sends out a signal that you are nervous. So therefore, avoid fidgeting with your hands or letting them fall by your side. Anything else is okay. If you're somebody who uses their hands a lot, so be it. It's all right as long as you keep it natural and not exaggerated. How to use your voice to deliver that effective speech. In fact, voice can be the most effective tool to make that speech connect with the audience. Now, this is an entire industry by itself, because you must be aware of vocal trainers and vocal coaches who tell you exactly how to use your voice, where to use it from even. When you are 5 or 6 minutes into the speech and I notice that perhaps a few people in the audience are not really connected, or maybe they're getting distracted, then that's when I use my Brahmastra, which is the voice. So suddenly, when you play around with your voice, you kind of break the monotony and get the audience attention immediately back. Now, there are 3 elements to voice modulation. One is the pace, the second is the pitch, and the third, the loudness. Pace, of course, you would know. Pace is the speed with which you speak. You could speak really fast, or you could go aram se, slowly, one word at a time. The next is the pitch. I could go higher, or I could go deep down to my bass. So the pitch is covered, and now comes the loudness. Now I could be really loud and impactful, or I could go soft and steady. So use your voice to keep the audience with you. And now, what are the don'ts? If I continue to speak to you in the same pace and the pitch without breaking the flow in any manner, I'm sure I will lose the audience in a very short span of time, maybe in just a matter of seconds. So how does that sound to you? Very boring, right? So never keep your voice at the same level. Keep changing it around. Use the pitch, the pace, and the loudness. Mix it up and keep the audience with you throughout your speech. Alright, the next point is something you must be all aware of, but let me repeat it again, and it is to do with presentations. Now, when you're making the presentations, and if you cram in a lot of information into the slides, it is a sure shot way to get your audience disengaged, because they turn their attention to the slide to read the content of the slide, and as a result, they lose that very important eye contact with you. So keep your presentation slides very simple. Have just about a couple of lines, 2-3 lines at the most, just highlighting the important parts or the important ideas that you want to present, but don't go into the details. The slide should essentially be like a shopping list. Now for the bonus tip. The bonus tip that I'm going to give you is to how to hit that pause button. How to use the pauses effectively in your speech delivery. Now there are 3 ways of doing it. One is a sentence completion pause. When I say Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. So there you have the answer in your mind already. The audience is completely with you and connected with you when you use the sentence completion pause. Or it could be before you want to make a big announcement. So for instance, you have a big idea to present, and right before you present that idea, you take a few seconds off. So the audience comes in to listen to what you have to say next. The other way of doing it is hitting that pause button right after the big announcement or the big idea. So then you're giving the audience a few seconds to process and think through that idea that you presented. So there are 3 ways where you can place the pause. Use pauses a lot because they have the maximum impact. Trust me when I say this. Well, no matter however prepared you are and how wonderful your speech is, when you get on stage, there are sometimes things can go really wrong, like probably your mic won't work, or there might be a lighting problem, or the guest you're expecting wouldn't have arrived. So there might be changes to the schedule, or there might be other changes that you have not anticipated at all. So be prepared for all this and be flexible and accommodating so that no matter whatever goes wrong, you still can sail through with your speech. So be energetic, be alive, and be present in the moment. You know what? People might forget what you said in that speech, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So, what was your aha moment? Was there any experience that you can't forget? Was there something that went awfully wrong during your speech? Do share your experience with me. Leave your comments in the comment section below. And I would love to know what you think and feel about this particular video as well. Do share them with your friends and family if you like them. Please subscribe and do press the bell icon, because when you press the bell icon, you get notified the next time I update a new video. Thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourself. Take care of the loved ones around you.